Suit up, strap in, warm the tires, and leave on yellow. Time for the MitsuTimes podcast, presented by MitsuTimes.org, the home of the fastest Mitsubishi cars. With your host, Josh.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Josh from MitsuTimes. Today, our guest is Rosney, the owner-operator of Chancla Performance, the sponsor of our 5th Gen Mirage class. How are you doing today, Rosney?
Good. How about yourself?
Man, I'm doing great. I'm glad to get you on because I love talking about the 5th Gen Mirages. Definitely one of my favorite platforms right now.
Mine too.
Yeah. I mean, you keep seeing, my favorite thing is you see a lot of different setups. You see V6, 4-cylinder, single overhead cam, 4G63, front-wheel drive, all-wheel drive. It's the perfect platform to do whatever you want on.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Can you tell us a little bit about how, when, and why Chancla Performance got started?
Well, it wasn't supposed to be called Chancla Performance. We were trying to call it something else, but we just started working on cars or whatsoever. And there was a thing that I started doing all the way from Puerto Rico to now that I'm in the States. Always when I'm working on cars or whatsoever, you'll see me on a pair of chanclas working on them. No matter if I'm welding or not. And the guys started joking around, like, hey, Chancla Performance, because he was always on chanclas and stuff. So the name just stayed, Chancla Performance.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, so did you just pretty much just started working on your own stuff, and then it kind of progressed into working on stuff for other people?
Yeah. So I started working on, so I have Toyota AE86, the 1986 Corona, and that's where I actually started working on.
Oh, nice.
And then I still have that in Puerto Rico, but once I moved over here to the States, I actually got my hands on 5 Gen Mirage. And that's when I started just working, just on myself stuff, and then it snowballed, and now I'm working on everybody's projects and stuff, and all kinds of stuff, all the way from Honda to Mitsubishi to Toyotas.
Nice. So let's talk about the kind of work and products you offer now.
Well, for now, I'm mostly doing bolt-on down pipes and up pipes for all type of Mirages. Any swap, especially on the 4G93 and 4G63 swaps. That's the main ones I'm right now concentrating on, bolt-on stuff, and especially I'm right now in developing traction bars for them too. And especially any custom part or whatsoever, I'll just do it. They just go for it.
Heck yeah. I mean, we need a hookup for parts here stateside on the 5th Gen Mirage.
Yeah. There's not much support out there for them, but we're getting there.
Yeah.
That's the main reason we want to hop on the 5th Gen Mirage, since you have anywhere to go, for real, on a 5 Gen Mirage.
Yep. And, the people who are making parts aren't selling them, seems like.
No, they're not. They're just and if they make a part or whatsoever, they'll just sell a couple, maybe 2-3 sets, and that's it. That's what I've noticed.
So we talked about it a little bit, but why focus on the 5th Gen Mirage?
Well, like you said earlier, you can take any route. You can go all motor, you can go turbo, you can go 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder, all-wheel drive, even rear-wheel drive. Don't get me wrong. There's one in Philly. It's a 5 Gen Mirage, rotary swap, rear-wheel drive car.
Of course, it's rotary swapped.
Yeah, you can use it for any type of build, and you can't go wrong. The chassis is strong and everything. It will hold some power.
Definitely. So I wanted to talk about the cars that you're building or that you've built in the past because, it seems like your Instagram, it's always something going on, some cool car that you got your hands on. So tell us a little bit about what you got going on.
Well, lately I've been touching about a lot of K-Series EGs and stuff like that. And the last one that was in the shop ran a 10.2s at 140 something miles per hour.
Dang.
And I've done already charge pipes and dump pipes. Now I just did a hood exit stuff for that. The previous one was recently turbo swap, so we don't know much numbers about that one. So I've worked on a couple 5 Gen Mirages, like with the V6 swap, and I was able to get my hands on work on a project for a 4th Gen Mirage with a 3.8 the 6G75 engine.
Wow.
On a 4th Gen Mirage.
I haven't seen that yet.
That was totally different because we had to do a crossbar. We had like all custom motor mounts and everything. Like, that chassis is completely different from the 5th Gen. So we had to do most of the work that has been done on that is one-off custom made stuff.
Nice. Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always heard that the 4th Gen Mirage is easier to put the 4G63 in because it's the mounts are similar.
It's more compatible with the older 4G63, and the actual rear subframe will literally bolt onto it.
No kidding.
For the all-wheel drive conversion, it's super easy to do it.
But in the 5th Gen Mirage, the Evo all-wheel drive subframe doesn't just bolt up to the back, right?
No, most of them they have to like cut some stuff up whatsoever, and especially like that rear where the spare tire goes, since that area is way lower on the 5th Gen Mirage than on the Evo. So most of the time they end up cutting half of that and plating it off so they can put the diff, make space for the diff, and like most of people know, the tank on an Evo is like split in half, so it has like dual fuel pump, one to dump engine to the other side of the tank, and then to the engine. So if you're going mostly stock, I mean, you gotta do all that type of swaps and stuff like that.
Gotcha. I mean, that makes sense that I have a 5th Gen Mirage that I drive every day, and the first time I opened the trunk, I thought, man, that is a huge trunk space. So, I mean, it makes sense that they would have to cut some of that out to put the rear end underneath.
Yeah.
So what does the future of the shop look like? You got any plans for things you want to do? Any cars that you want to get out there?
Well, I'm working on mine right now to do upgrades on the ECU and stuff like that. So right now I'm working on putting a Fuel Tech 450 on it. So that's gonna be like a stage for it, and after that, I'm planning in like doing the all-wheel drive system and all that stuff, and like probably I'll go into a bigger shop or whatsoever. Because once I start doing that type of work, that like go to a next level of work, I know I'm gonna have more cars rolling in and a bunch of other projects rolling in too.
Yeah, definitely. I've been saying, some of my friends here local, whoever starts making that plug-and-play Fuel Tech harness for the 3.8 in the future, they're going to be a rich man in the coming years.
Oh yeah, big time. Because most of the ones I've seen that will sell something for the 3.8 will be more like Mega Score type of stuff or Max ECU.
Yep.
That's the most common thing I've seen. But for the Fuel Tech, I hope I can hop on one of them projects and once I do one, I can multiply it and do a bunch of them.
Yeah, for sure. Especially, the 3.8 harness, a lot of people don't know, but it's the ECU is in the engine bay for most of the cars that it comes in, so it's a real easy harness to work with.
Yeah, it's super easy compared to the 4G93
Yeah.
or 4G63 that is in cabin, so it's a little bit more easier.
And a good thing about the 6G cars compared to the 4G cars is, on the 4G cars, it seems like almost all the plugs are the same. So you don't know if you're plugging into the coil pack or the AC. So it's a good thing. This, on the 6G cars, they thought about that.
Yeah, they change a bunch of plugs and stuff like that. And I was surprised when I did the 4G63 swap on my car. Since my car is a 2002, it's one of the older. It is actually one of the last 5 gens they put out on the 2002.
Hmm.
And my plugs and my ECU are 100% compatible with the Japanese one.
Oh, wow.
And the Lancer one.
Huh.
So all I had to do once I did the swap was literally add a couple pins so I could put the boost controller, the stock boost controller, and the stock electronic fuel regulator that's all I had to do with it. So I was super surprised that was that compatible.
Heck yeah. That's like a drop-in engine swap right there.
Yeah, pretty much.
So what kind of products do you hope to put out in the future?
Well, hopefully I can start doing more fuel tech harnesses in the near future. And like I said, I'm trying to develop right now, like, bolt-in traction bars, since they sell them for any type of car except for the 5 gens. You have to adapt whatever traction bars there is, and mostly you have to weld onto chassis and do a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So that's a product I'm developing right now as we speak to get done, and then especially the front end, like the radiator support and stuff like that, the tubular mount so you can literally bolt it on if you want to and stuff, or pre-made tubular front ends so you can just literally know where to cut it up and fit it up right there and just weld it up right nice, and everything's already prefabricated and everything. So I'm just bit by bit, step by step, trying to figure out some other stuff so I can keep developing more parts and stuff like that for the 5 Gen Mirage.
Heck yeah. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
So what is your background on Mitsubishi cars? Have you had any other than the 5th Gen Mirage?
Yeah, I actually had a Galant Mirage, Mitsubishi Galant back in 2014 with V6 in it. It was pretty fast, but I didn't do much with it because it was more of a commuter car.
Right.
But I still had my fun on it too.
So if there's somebody out there listening right now, they bought a 5th Gen Mirage, maybe it's the 1.8. There's a lot of options, a lot more options with the 1.8 than the 1.5. What advice would you give them for their build?
Just try to go for it and try to get those good numbers, because there's people out there doing good numbers with the 1.8, but not a lot of them.
Yeah.
And especially if you can get your hands on good parts, go for the good parts. No, don't try to cheap out, because most of the time you'll cheap out and you'll end up breaking.
Definitely. Get those eBay parts in there, fill it up with eBay parts. You're going to be on the side of the road a lot.
Yeah, most of the time you're going to be on the side of the road or still on your shop trying to make it work.
So what would you say are the strengths and weaknesses of the 5th Gen Mirage? I mean, we talked about how you can go front-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, even rear-wheel drive, 4-cylinder, V6. What do you, from your perspective, what would you say is the strength and weakness?
Well, the strength mostly is what we've been saying, that you can go in any direction. Like, you cannot go wrong with any direction you go. You'll find a bunch of, stuff you can actually do to it. But the most weakness, I would say, is actual, trying to get parts for it. Like, a good quality part for any type of stuff. Like, most of the time, there's no backup, good performance parts for them. No matter if you go 60 or 4G6 or 4G9, if you're trying to get some good performance chassis stuff like braces and traction bars, actually at least good suspensions we have because we can go BC coilovers or whatsoever. But other than that, most of the time are going to be like Chinese parts or imitation parts or not even good parts. And most of the time you're going to end up having to custom made a part one-off so you can actually put your power down or make your car handle a little bit better or whatsoever.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. So what would you say it is about the 5th Gen Mirage that made you want to build one yourself?
Well, mostly it was to build something different. Because now that I've been working on my 5th Gen Mirage, each time I go to a meet, they will expect a V6, at least on my end. They'll expect a V6 or single can turbo. That's the most common thing you'll see out in the streets. And then when I pop the hood and they see a Evo 7 engine on a 5 Gen Mirage, you go like, I didn't know that fit in there. Or I didn't know that worked like that in there. So it's kind of surprising the stuff you can actually do to them. And like I like about them. Because you can go all the way from an older engine all the way to a newer engine. Like one of my buddies had in Puerto Rico, a 4-door 5 Gen Mirage with 4V12 in it.
Oh, wow.
Older Lancer ones.
That's cool. I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, that was totally dope. Like, that's something in the near future I'm trying to get my hands on.
Yeah.
On a 412 so I can do a 5 Gen coupe with the actual 4V12 old motor.
There you go. That sounds like a good plan.
Yeah.
Definitely something different. I love when I pull up to a meet or a show and people think it's a Civic, and then you pop the hood and they're like, whoa, Mitsubishi?
Yeah. Super surprising.
And one of my favorite things about it is, like we were saying, you could go all the way from a 1.5 to, a stroked out, or not a stroked out, but a bored over 67.5, making it a 4-liter. So,
yeah.
Huge gap right there in displacement.
Yeah, big gap.
So we've seen the first Mitsubishi-powered 5th Gen break into the 8s this year, earlier in the year. And then we've seen the number 1 kind of jump around. I'm sorry. We've seen them break into the 8s late last year. And then we've kind of seen them jump around early this year. What do you think is the future of the 5th Gen Mirage list?
It's going to get fast. It's going to get scary fast. Because there's some projects out there that I'm not going to say what platform it is. All I'm going to say is there are a couple out there, 4 cylinders, that might surprise you on this list soon.
Hey, that's what I like to hear.
And we're talking about all 9 yards, 3-piece front ends, tubular, and all type of stuff.
Yeah. I think because the 67.5 is so hard to find parts for, people are starting to kind of max it out, and we're seeing the 4 cylinders really jump up.
Yeah, that's the main reason about the 6 Gen. Hopefully we'll get somebody to start making like good performance parts for it, and they can keep getting those quicker numbers in. But it will get to a point that it will have to be turboed or whatsoever, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. So, do you have any goals this year with the shop? Anything that you want to get done before the end of the year? I mean, it seems like the end of the year is approaching super fast now.
Yeah, end of the year is right around the corner. So all I'm trying to do right now is knock out a couple projects I have right now. Like, I have 2 more Toyota projects I have to knock out. One is a Scion TC turbo in it and doing all custom-made stuff for it. And then I'm going to have 93 Corolla again for a different type of engine swap and turbo, big turbo stuff and whatsoever. And hopefully by the end of the year, I can get my car done and try to make good numbers for it. Go probably to Orlando and test it out in the track and stuff like that.
Yeah. So is there any events that you plan to attend this year or maybe early next year to get the car out and get it back in action?
Yeah, hopefully by the end of the year, I'm ready. So hopefully by the end of the year, I'm ready to the track or whatsoever, and then by early next year, I'm going to be hitting the track once the track opens up over here at North. So by the time I do that, I'll probably attend Orlando or some track down south.
Yeah. It's definitely, the home of the fast 5th Gen Mirages, Orlando Speed World and Salinas.
Yep, big time.
I feel like we don't really see them anywhere else. Just a little couple here and there.
Yeah, a couple here and there. And one of the things I want to do right now, and I'm trying to get another guy from the local area to go with me to a half-mile event. So that way we can crack that quarter-mile stuff and do other type of events too. That way people feel motivated and say, oh, we don't have to just use the track, just a quarter-mile track. We can go half-mile. We can go circuits on them. We can do anything to it.
I feel like you don't really see them, get outside of just quarter-mile drag racing. So, that'd be awesome to see, one of these cars doing something else.
Oh, yeah, big time. Hopefully we can get to that point where it's going to be common. You see a 5 Gen Mirage doing anything else, any type of racing. Yeah. Hopefully.
All right, so Rosney, is there anybody that you want to give a shout out to that's helped get the shop going, helped get it to where it is now, or kind of helped you wrench around at the shop?
Oh yeah, I want to give a shout out to CA Welding. That's my buddy Carlos. He helps me out a lot. He does a bunch of fabrication stuff too, and we help each other off doing fabrication and stuff too, and wrenching around, doing all type of stuff and whatsoever.
All right, Rosney, I wanted to say I greatly appreciate you coming on as a sponsor for the 5th Gen list. For a while, I thought we was going to have to close it out for the year. We couldn't find a sponsor, and you really stepped up and supported all those guys. And because of you, we've added a few more to the list, and I feel like there's a lot more to come. I mean, you've just been absolutely great. For me, this is one of my favorite categories, so I appreciate it even more.
Oh, man, I really appreciate that, man. And hopefully we can keep this list alive and get it faster, too.
Yeah, definitely.
We're going to get there.
We're going to see mid-8s, I think, before the end of the year.
Oh, you have that for sure. You're going to see that.
Well, Rosney, there's so many people out there, they have a 5th Gen, and they're looking for somebody who can work on it. Can you tell us a little bit about where we can find your information, how we can get in contact with you?
Yeah, you can hit me up at got my Instagram account. It's Chancla Performance. We have the Facebook page too, same as the Instagram account, Chancla Performance. And for stickers and stuff like that, or orders for custom-made stuff or whatsoever, if you don't have Instagram or Facebook for some reason, you can go ahead on the website, chanclaperformance.com, and you can hit me up, send an email whatsoever, have something custom-made for it or whatsoever, we'll do it for you.
There you go. Talk to that are having problems getting parts because people in Puerto Rico don't want to sell them to you, hit up Rosney. He's got you.
Yeah, we're here to help everybody.
All right, man. I appreciate you coming on, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you for listening to the MitsuTimes podcast. Check out our Instagram and Facebook for daily updates. Get added to our list by going to MitsuTimes.org and clicking Submit a Slip. Thank you to all of our sponsors.